Good afternoon, everyone. Hope everyone is doing fine. So yesterday we discussed regarding what is Pragati, what are the nitty-gritties associated with it, when will the exam be held. I hope we don't have any confusion regarding the same. Today we'll be moving on to another aspect of Pragati, which is fill in the blanks. Now it is very important for you to understand the importance of fill in the blanks. Before that, we did reading comprehension yesterday. So there were certain details which were shared regarding the same. I hope all of you have been able to understand regarding it as well. Today, let's go ahead with this. First of all, why fill in the blanks? The primary goal of fill in the blanks is to apply the knowledge that you've already acquired. Now, if we talk about fill in the blanks, is it opinion based? Not at all. It is not opinion based, but it is based on the knowledge that you have acquired. When we talk about conjunctions, we talk about articles, we talk about adjectives, we talk about verbs, we talk about name of places. Everything comes in the set. Now, when we talk about fill in the blanks, we also need to understand the tips and tricks for the same. Now, how do I go ahead and fill in the blank? First of all, I need to have good vocabulary. If I don't have good vocabulary, I will not be able to understand what that sentence states. I will not be able to understand what is the meaning of that sentence. So I need to have good vocabulary. Then, if that becomes an issue, I need to understand that I need to read carefully. I need to read it carefully. Then we need to follow the grammar clues. What are the grammar clues which that sentence is sharing? Is it an adjective? Is it a verb? We need to go ahead with the grammar clues. And we need to understand what is the context of that very sentence. When we need to understand the context, we also need to understand that you need to know idioms and phrases. Now, let me give you an example. What is basically an idiom? This work is a piece of cake. Piece of cake, it does not actually mean that we are talking about a piece of cake. We are talking about the easiness of that particular word. So I hope all of you understood the tips and tricks for the same. Good vocabulary, read carefully, follow the grammar clues, understand the context, and have the knowledge about common idioms and the phrases. Now, before we go further, let's go ahead with a virtual tour. All right. So I hope all of you have seen Chandigarh University, your dream destination. Moving on. We'll go ahead with the questions. Now the questions, they may be very easy, or we'll go into the highest extent, difficulty extent. So we'll start with the easy questions. Now I request all of you to do one thing. We'll go ahead with one question at a time. When I ask one question, I will give you 30 seconds for the same. I would request you to just give in the option that you feel right as answer to that very question in the chat box, please. Right? So let's start with the first question. The first question states, a dash of Japanese artists stepped off the coach amidst warm welcome. So you have A, bank, B, gang, C, troop, and D, troop. You have 30 seconds. Please check which answer do you feel is right. Thirty minutes for this, 30 seconds for all of you to pick the right choice and write that down in the chat box. So the answer to this is D, troop. C, troop, it means army, something related to army or soldiers. When we talk about artists, the option is D. That's the right option. Let's go on to the second question. Again, you'll be getting 30 seconds. Write down the correct option A, B, C, D in the chat box. Today, student should be reconciled dash the way things are changing. All right, so the answer to the same is with, that is option C. Let's move on to the next question. Third question, she was relieved to hear from the doctor that the tumor was not malignant. It was dash. 30 seconds. Please write down the correct option in the chat box. Question number 3. All right, the answer to this is B, benign, which means it was not harmful or not infected. I hope most of you have got this right. Let's move on to the fourth question. The fourth question states, Most people are influenced by dash advertisements and tend to believe the claims made about the product. Please check which option do you feel is right and write that down in the chat box. 30 seconds. All right, so the answer to this is C, colorful. I hope we have students who have given the right answer to the same. So let's move on to the next question, please. The fifth question comes under medium level question. So fifth question, if she dash a bird, she would fly. Please write down the correct option in the chat box. Ten seconds left, everyone. All right, the answer to this is A, were. It is a conditional. When we have if, we'll be adding were to it. If she were a bird, she would fly. Let's go on to the sixth question. King George accession dash the throne was celebrated with great pomp. A, B, C, D. Which one do you think is right? Please write down the right option in the chat box. Left with 15 seconds, everyone. All right, so answer to this is to. It's a preposition which goes with accession. Let's move on to the seventh question. Mr. Raj put his whole life dash the work. A, B, C, D. Your 30 seconds start now. Just put the right choice in the chat box. And the time's up. So the answer is in, that is D. Mr. Raj put his whole life in the work. When we talk about into and upon, it is associated with movement. He moved into the cabin, right? So it would be in. Let's move on to eighth question. There was a serious dash between the two sisters. 30 seconds, everyone. All right. So the answer to this is altercation, which is basically small quarrel or disagreement between two or more people, right? When we talk about aberration, it means which is when something is unusual, right? So the actual answer is C, altercation. I hope most of you have got this right. Let's move on to the next one. Ninth, the B, C, D. Your 30 seconds start now. Please write down the answer in the chat box. All right, the answer is C, pursued, which means chased, right? So the answer is C. I hope all of you have got this right. Very easy question, is it? Or a medium-based question? Let's move on to 10th. Genealogy is 30 seconds. Everyone, please write down the right choice according to you in the chat box. I hope all of you are writing on the answer, right answer according to you in the chat box. All right. So the right answer is study of family history. As the name suggests, genealogy. Genes, study of family history. Let's move to the next one. Eloquent means 30 seconds, everyone. I hope all of you are answering in the chat box. It means D, fluent and persuasive. I hope all of you have got this right. Now let's move on to the next level questions, which are high level questions. This is the extent to which the questions can go, right? So question is, lexicology is dash. A, loss of ability to speak. B, hearing loss. C, study and history of words. D, not authorized by officials. So 30 seconds start now, everyone. I hope each one of you is answering the chat box. All right. The answer to this is C, study and history of words. It is study and history of words. Let's move on to the 13th question. It is asking, what is the meaning of ostentatious? Ostentatious. What is the meaning of the same? A, showy. B, grand event. C, picky. D, extrovert. 30 seconds. Please write down your choice in the chat box. I hope all of you have written your answers in the chat box. So the answer to this is A, showy. Ostentatious means something which is showy. Let's see how many have got the right answers. Let's go to the next question. Philology is dash. A, love of humanity. B, love of text related to any languages. C, love of wisdom. D, love of books. And your 30 seconds start now. All right, everyone. So the answer of this question is love of text related to any language. I hope all of you got that right. So let's move on to the next question. It's raining cats and dogs. Remember I shared with you, you need to know about idioms. So it's raining cats and dogs. What does it mean? A, cats and dogs are falling from the sky. B, it's raining very hard. C, it's not raining much at all. D, the weather is horrible. 30 seconds start now. Come on, everyone, please write down the answers in the chat box. All right, the answer to this is it's raining very hard. So these are the questions which were supposed to go here today. Now, after learning this new aspect of verbal ability, Mr. Amit will take you through different aspects of aptitude and logical reasoning just after the virtual tour of your dream destination, that is Chandigarh University.
All right. I hope, am I audible to all of you? Am I audible to all of you? All right. Okay. So I have mentioned yesterday that we have to discuss today the two topic, one from the quant and another one from the reasoning. The topic that we have to discuss from the quant section, that is called percentage, right? And after that, we will discuss a topic from the reasoning section that is called blood relation. All right. So, okay. So we are starting the topic from the quant section, that is percentage. I hope the PPT is also visible, everyone. Okay. So we will start with a very basic concept of percentage. Okay. Okay. So we will start with the topic. We will start with the concept percent, right? What is the meaning of this word percent? A percent implies for every 100. For example, when you will say the 10% of something, okay? The 10% of something, what do you mean by it? It means the 10 part out of 100, right? So that's why we used to say the percent implies for every 100. So when we say the 10 by 100, it is 10 out of 100, right? So we have taken some examples. For example, this is x percent, that is x by 100, and we have taken one value, the 10%, that is 10 by 100, right? So you can write down 10 by 100 as 1 by 10. What does it mean? It means the one part out of the 10 parts, and this is mentioned here, right? So the next point that we have to discuss from this chapter, percentages. All right. So all right. So we have taken some examples. Number one, the x is what percentage of y, number one. Number two is what percent of y is x. And number three is what is x percent of y. These are three terminology that we will see in this chapter. Okay. So when we are saying x is what percent of y, it implies that we are interested in finding out x is what percent of y. The denominator should be the number with which we are comparing the number, right? Here we are comparing x with the y. That's why it means what the x is what percent of y, right? In the second term, we are saying when what percentage of y is x, right? So that's why the what percentage of y is x. So it means x divided by y into 100, right? And when we are saying what is x percent of y, when we are saying x percent of y means, let's say y is here, and you have to find out the x percent of y. It means y into x by 100. It's very similar when we are saying that 20% of 50. 20% of 50. What does it mean? It means simply the 50 multiply 20 by 100. All right. So the third terminology, what is x percent of y, is very similar to this 20% of 50 or 50% of something. Okay, so this is the second slide about the topic percentage. If we will talk about the third part, okay, so if we will talk about the third part, the next part is this, the fourth terminology, that is what find the percentage of x to y. It's very similar to x by y into 100, right? So what percentage of x to y, right? So x is what percent of y is very similar x by y into 100, right? So if you will talk about the fifth point, that is percentage change. But percentage change means what? We have some original value, we have some final value. So whatever change we are getting in final value as compared to the original value, that is called the percentage change, right? So that's why this is our fifth point. Okay. So why we are discussing these 5 points? Because these 5 points are very important, because in every statement you will find out these 5 statements, right? So if we will move to the next slide of our percentage topic, that is, okay, let's take one example so that you can better understand the scenario. Here is a question, and the question says what? Read it carefully. The point is, it's the question based on the total production of something, right? Here what is mentioned in 2008, the total production of cars is given in the company A, right? That is 1,000. That is 1,000 in the 2008, right? In 2008, right? And total production of car in 2010, it is 1,500, all right? So whatever what we have to find out, the question is find the percentage increase or decrease in its production value, right? So we can see that from the 2008 to 2010, there is an increment, 1,000 to 1,500. So what we have to find out? We have to find out the percentage increase here. So we can see that there is an increment of 500 from 1,000 to 1,500. There is an increment of 500. You will divide always with the original value, because we are comparing the increment value with the original value. And here the original value is 1,000. That's why you will say 500 divided by 1,000 into 100, right? So that's why you can see here 500 by 1,000 into 100, that is called 50%. All right. So what is the use of this type of question? You can easily find out how to find out increment in a value, or how you can find out the decrement in a value. So this is the overall scenario that you can use. All right. Now let's move toward the next part. The next part is based on the same type of question. The question is, okay. Now read it very carefully. In January, there's a Dylan worked at a total of 35 hours, but in February he worked 42 hours. And in March it was decreased to 35 hours. So now you have to find out the percentage did Dylan working hours increase or decrease in February. So you can see that in this question there is no requirement of the March month number of working hours, right? It is just the extra data is given in the question. There is no requirement of this data in this question if you're going to find out the answer, right? Because in January we can see that we are working for the 35 hours. In the February we are working for the 42 hours. So if we want to we want to find out this change, so there is no requirement of March data, right? So this is extra data, there is no use of this. So there is an increment, right? So there is an increment of 7 here, 35 to 42, and this increment is happening. Okay, so this increment is happening in the original value of the January, that is 35. So 7 by 35 into 100, and we can say that 7 5 35, this is 20%. All right. So what is the meaning of, what is the use of this type of question? Sometime you will also get some type of question in which the extra data is given and there is no use of that particular data, right? So read the question very carefully, because the question asked very simple, but the point is, if you will see the question, the length of the question, you will not be able to get the answer, right? It's better just read the proper question carefully and just read the last line, what the examiner want to ask. All right. So let's switch to the next question. The next question we have is this, right? Actually, this is not the question. We can say that this is a relation between the fractions and the percentage. Okay, so in our next slide, we are discussing what is the use of the percentage and fraction data, how we can relate these two things, right? Because sometime, for example, if you will get this type of question, for example, if we'll get this type of question, example, the 9.09% of 11,220, right? So if we do not have this idea, what is the relation between the percentage and fraction so if we don't have any idea, so it's not possible for us to find out this type of question very easily. Why? Because how you will approach this question, you will say 9.09 divided by 100 multiply with the 11.220, right? So you will cancel out 0 0, you will remove this point, okay, you will multiply these two things, right? So it will become difficult for you to find out the answer for this type of question in a very short duration, right? So the better way to follow this rule that I have mentioned in this slide, that are percentage and fraction rules, right? What is the use of this data? The use is, if you have this idea, 1 by 11 is nothing. 1 by 11 of 100 is 9.09%. Okay. So what you will say, 9.09% is nothing, but it's is 1 by 11 of something, right? 1 by 11. Now, if you want to better understand this scenario, you can say that if 100% is 11220 and you are interested in find out the 9.09%. So 100% means what? Divided by 100, and the 9.09% is this, right? So it is difficult. So what we are doing, we are just directly write down 9.09% as 1 by 11. Okay. So what we are doing, 11220 was the 1 by 11 of this, 11 1120. So you will directly say answer will be 1020. Okay. So there are certain fractions here, certain percentages here that are very useful when you will approach this type of question. All right. So this type of question can be asked when there is a question, there is a relation between the expenditure, there's a relation between the consumption, there's a relation between the price. Okay. So this type of question can be asked. Okay. So we have this scenario. I'm not telling everyone every concept, but the some important I'm marking. For example, number one, 9.09%. Here it is 9.2. Just wait. The first one is 9.09% we have. You can see that actually marker is not going in the up direction. Okay, don't know why, but you can see that 9.09%, the second row. Okay, so 9 point this row, this row. 9.09. Okay, the next one, 1 by 12 is 8.33. 1 by 13 is 7.69%. Okay, so remember, you have to remember this data, right? If you'll remember it, it will definitely help you in finding out some answers, right? Because if you know 7.69% is 1 by 13, you can easily solve some type of question. For example, here it is 7.69% of, let's say, 1 of 169 of 169. All right, so you can write down 7.969%, nothing but 1 by 13 into 169. Okay, so it will be easy for you. So the overall reason we are discussing this chart is this: we have some idea the relation between the percent and fraction. Okay, so let's move toward the next slide of this percentage topic. The next slide is we have, okay, now we have successive change in the form result, successive change, right? So what we have the successive change, it's very important to discuss, right? Because like I have clearly mentioned, you should know the percentage fraction relation. You should also know this point, this relation. Okay, that is successive change formula. What is this successive change formula? For example, let's say there is a person whose salary in the month of January is 13,000, right? And in the month of February, he got increment of 10%. In the month of March, he got increment of 20%. Okay. So with the help of this result, you can directly find out the result, his salary in the month of March, right? So why we are applying this logic? Whenever there is a continuous change in the value, you can apply this result x plus y plus x plus y, xy by 100. Okay, so you can get the result. For example, let's take one example here. In the February month, there is a 10% increment, and in the March month, there is a 20% decrement. So how you will use this formula? You will say x is representing plus 10, y is representing minus 20, right? So plus, okay, x is here plus 10, y is minus 20. and divide with the 100. All right. And you can easily find out 0, 0 cancel out. And you will say 10 minus 20 is minus 10, and that is minus 2. So overall change is 12%, right? So you will say that minus is representing there is a decrement in the original value, right? So you will say that there is a total change of 12%. There is a total change of 12% in the original value. Okay. So let's say here it is 13,000. So you will say that you have to just find out, let's say there is a 13,000. You have to just find out the 88% of this value, and that will be your salary in the month of March. Okay. So how you have to use this formula? This is the approach. If there is an increment, use plus sign. If there is a decrement, use minus sign. So this is the overall logic behind this concept. Okay. So let's take some break, and you can virtually visit the campus. Okay. I am sharing the video with all of you. It's visible now. I hope it's visible now. It's visible now. It's visible now or not? The video is visible. One second. One second. All right. I hope. All right. So let's move toward the remaining points from the chapter, percentage. All right. So we have seen that in the last we have discussed the successive change, right? If we have to find out the successive change, we have to use this formula. I hope the PPT is visible to everyone. I hope the PPT is visible to everyone, right? All right, all right. Okay. So in the last, we have to discuss some more point from this percentage chapter that are okay, let's take this example so that you can understand why we are discussing this successive change. Okay, you will get this idea, right? Let's say here it is mentioned the population of a town is mentioned, that is 1 lakh, right? And this population is at the end of 2012, right? So 2012 population is mentioned. In 2013, what happened? There's an increase in the population, that is 10%. So in the year 2013, increment 10%, and in the 2014 there is a decrement. So again we have the formula x plus minus y plus minus xy by 100. So you will use this result directly. You can see that the first there is an increment, so that's why x value is plus 10, and there's a decrement in the 2014, right? So you will use minus 20, right? You can see that the result is mentioned here. 10 minus 20 minus 10 into 20, that is 200, and minus plus minus minus, it is visible here, divided by 100. So their overall change of 12% in the value, right? So this is the result, and this is the method we can use, okay, in this type of question. So if you will move toward the next part, you will move toward the next part. Okay. Now in the last question, we have discussed the change in the population, right? Now we are discussing the change in the salary. Okay, is a population change, there is a salary change, it doesn't matter. You can directly apply the same result here also, the successive change result. Okay, and the result says if there is a successive change, and here you can see that there is a decreased 30% a salary first, then increased 10%. So you can directly apply here the result that we have discussed. The result is what? The result is X value is minus 30, Y value is plus 10. Okay, you can directly apply minus 30 plus 10 plus here, that is minus 30 plus 10 divided by 100, right? So you can solve it, you can get the result. Okay? 0, 0 cancel, that is minus 23%. That is minus 23%. So the result, the option B is correct here. So your answer will be B. Okay. So this type of question can be asked based on successive percentage change. So in the end, let's discuss few more points from this chapter. Percentage. Okay. Now you can see on the screen, if there is an increase n by s%, what does it mean? It means simply this. Now, why this is the result n bracket 1 plus s by 100? Very simple. For example, there is a value 50, right? And there's an increment of 10% in this value. There's an increment of 10% in this value. What you will say? You will say 50 plus 50 multiply 10 by 100. 50 multiply 10 by 100. All right. So you will take 50 common, bracket 1 plus 10 by 100. Okay. So this is the result you can see here in the first point. The n is here and 1 is here, plus s value is clearly mentioned 10 here divided by 100. Okay. In the case of decrement, you can apply the same result with a minus sign. That will be your result. Okay. Now the third point you can see in this slide, that is product stability ratio. That is called A into B is equal to B. Very beautiful concept. Okay. You all should know this concept, A into B is equal to B, right? And you can get this result with the help of example only. I will tell you one example. After that, we will move toward the reasoning part, right? Okay, so let's take one example so that you can better understand the scenario of stability ratio, right? Let's take example. This is the example, right? Here it is mentioned the price of rice is increased by 25%, and there's a you have to find out how much percentage it is consumption must be decreased to make the expenditure constant. So the third part that we have discussed, how to find out when there is a multiplication factor is constant, right? What does it mean? Let's say we should have an idea if we want to approach this type of question, that price into consumption is always expenditure. What does it mean? For example, we want to purchase some apple. For example, we want to purchase some apple and the price is 100 rupees per kg, right? And we are purchasing 50 kg apple. So you can directly multiply. Okay, so you can find out the expenditure, and that is 5,000. So this is your expenditure. And whatever type of concept you will see where when you will multiply two things and you will get the third result. Okay, so that is called the third part, that is multiplication part. Okay, now how you will apply this result? You can simply say if there is a one second. Okay, if you will see that here price of rice increased by 25%. So you all should know 25% is 1 by 4. What does it mean? Initial price was 4, final price was 5. Okay, now you have to find out the consumption also, initial, final consumption also, expenditure should be fixed, right? So if we'll write down 5 here, 4 here, so you can see that consumption is going from 5 to 4. Okay, so there is a change of 1 in the 5 value. You can directly find out that is 20%, and this is a present here, that is And it is clearly mentioned here 25 by 125 into 100 is equal to 20%. The whole point is why it is 25 by 125, because if you will break your percent part into fraction part, it will become 1 by 4. But if you will not break into 1 by 4, you will say it is 25 by 100. Okay. So what does it mean? It means initial price is 100 and the final is 125. Okay. In the same way, initial consumption is 125 and the final consumption is 100, and you can see that there is a change of 25 from 125 to 100. Okay, so this is the result that we are using here. And overall scenario that you can discuss here is that the result, if you will generalize the result, this will become R by 100 plus R, right? So this is the overall scenario that we should know if we are talking about the percentage part, right? So let's move toward the reasoning part. Okay, I think it's sufficient for the percentage part. Okay, but before that, I will take some second to switch from the percentage to blood relation. Between that, I'm showing the video, right? Or the campus video, you should know, right? Virtually, you can visit the campus. 1 second, give me 1 second. Now, this is the So let's take one more to write. 1 second. I hope All right. I hope now PPT is visible to everyone, right? Okay. So I hope you have seen the video very keenly, right? Already 40 countries students have enrolled. Now we are starting, okay, with the next topic from the reasoning, that is blood relation, okay. Yesterday, whatever we have discussed from the reasoning is a different topic, and today we are discussing the different topic, that is blood relation, okay. So the whole concept behind this topic, that is blood relation, that is called tree method, right? What is tree method? You should know which generation will lie on which zone. For example, let's take one example, because you should have a proper diagram if you want to solve any type of question based on the concept of blood relation. I'm telling you how you can approach. You can see the chart here in the first slide. There is a chart, right? All the relation you can see here is from your paternal side, means your father's side, right? Let's say when we are saying this is a grandfather, what does it mean? There is a grandfather, the father of your father, right? Okay. That's why we are saying there's a different relation based on your paternal side, right? There's a grandfather, father's father, right? There's a grandmother, father's mother. Okay. There's an uncle, father's brother. So there are some terminology that you should know if you want to approach the question from the topic blood relation. Because if you do not have any type of idea about these terminologies, you will not be able to solve the question, right? So the first chart you all can see, you should remember that, right? This is your paternal side chart, right? The aunt, sibling, niece, nephew, children, cousin, grandchildren, great grandchildren, right? These are some terminology that you should know, right? So after this, we have some terminologies based on the maternal side, your mother's side, right? Like maternal grandfather means mother's father. When we are saying maternal grandmother, mother's mother, right? So these are few terminology that you should know before attempting any type of question based on the topic blood relation. Okay, now let's move toward the next chart, that is the wife husband relation. There is a relation that you should know, right? For example, there is a one point here, grandfather-in-law. Okay, so what does it mean? It means wife grandfather. Okay, so you should know these terminologies, not all the terminologies, but basic terminology, yeah, you should know, right? Mother-in-law, sister-in-law, brother-in-law, daughter-in-law, son-in-law. These are very important because in every question you will find these terminologies, right? So let's move toward the next part. So first three slides based on the relations on your paternal side, on your maternal side, right? There is a husband-wife relation, right? Now the next slide we can see that there is a generation tree. What does it mean, generation tree? I'm giving you one example so that you can better understand what is the meaning of this word generation tree. Okay, and how you will use this concept. The concept is what, let's say the grandfather, let's say here you are, right? Here you are. This is you, right? And here is your father or mother. Let's say this is your father, right? And here the third generation, that is your grandfather, right? So the whole point the behind this word generation tree is this: you should solve each and every type of question. First you will draw the tree method, okay? Because it will help you. If you know your generation is here, means you, your brother and sister is here, right? And here is your father, here is your mother, right? Here is your grandfather, here is your grandmother, right? This is the first point that you all should know, that is the tree method, right? Number two, you all should know the next point is there are some symbols. For example, I will represent male with the plus sign, female with the negative sign, because sometimes you will see this type of question. At the end of the question, what is asked by the examiner? The number of males in the family, number of females in the family. So if you want to find out the number of males or number of female, you should have a proper idea at the end of the diagram, right? So that's why you will always draw the symbols, plus sign, minus sign, with every family member. Okay, so this is the fourth slide, okay, in which we are discussing the generation thing. So if you will move toward the next slide of this topic, blood relation, we will consider the question, right? And the question is based on the brother, sister, and father relation. Okay. So if you will look at the question is A is brother of B. So the same generation means the same, you will mark A and B on the same level. Let's say A is here, B is here. And the question is A is the brother of B. So brother means male, you will point out plus here. But you have no idea about the B gender, right? You don't know B is male or B is female. So you cannot put any sign with the B, right? All right. So that's why we are saying when A is the brother of B, you will put A and B on the same level with the different sign. You have sign A plus with the A. You do not have any sign with the B because we don't know gender of the B, right? Now B is the sister of C. Now we know the gender, right? B is the sister of C. Again on the same level, but we don't know the gender of C again. Now the point is C is the father of D. Now if C is the father of D, you will put plus sign with the C. Okay, C is the father of D. D will come here. All right. Now again there is a question here. You don't know the gender of D again. Okay, so that's why A with the plus sign, B with the negative sign, C with the plus sign, but you cannot put any sign with the D because we do not have any gender knowledge here, right? Now the question is how D is related to A. All right. Now how D is related to A, if you look at the options, A is brother. The A option is brother. Now you don't know the gender of D. How you can predict this is a male or female? So that's why for the first option is nullified, right? If you move toward the point number B, that is option number B, that is sister. If again you don't know the gender of D, so how you can say that is a sister? Again, this option is not considerable. The option number 3, that is nephew, right? So you can see that there is no meaning of nephew here because you know very well it's nephew or niece, you don't know because again you don't know the gender, right? So the D option is favorable here. So you will tick the option number D, that is cannot be determined. Okay. So this is the result that we have to use in this type of question. Okay. So first you will make, there are 2 points here, 2 most important point that you will use in each and every question. Number 1, you will draw the generations, right? Number 2, you will mark the signs. So if you will remember these 2 things, you can attempt each and every question based on this topic, right? So let's move toward the next point, that is next question. You can say not difficult one, again very simple one. I'm waiting for the answer. You can mark your answer. You have 4 options: mother, grandmother, aunt, and data is inadequate. Tell me the answer of this question if anybody can tell me. Anybody can tell me. You can give me the answer for this question. Sonam, anybody? B, grandmother. C, aunt. All right. Raju. Okay. All right. All right. Okay. How to approach this question? Simply again, draw the generation diagram, generation tree diagram. How you can draw? Look at the screen. The point is, P is the mother of K. So if P is the mother of K, P will come at the upper generation. P is the mother with the negative sign. P is the mother of K. All right. You don't know the gender of K, but from the second line you can predict the gender. K is the sister of D. K is the sister of D. Again, you don't know the gender of D, right? K is the sister of D. Now D is the father of J. Again, D is the father of J means there is a J will come at the bottom part, most bottom part. D is the father of J. One second. D is the father of J. All right. Now again, you don't know the gender of J, right? Now the question is how is P related to J? The question is how is P related to J? So you can easily say this is a third generation. It doesn't matter J is male or female. It doesn't matter in this question because you have to predict the relation of P with the J, right? P is obviously, there's a female and this is grandmother of J. Okay, so this is the answer. So there is no requirement of the J gender. Okay, so data is sufficient. So you cannot say answer is data inadequate. Data inadequate will be the answer if the question will be like this: what is the relation of J with the D, J with the P? Okay, at that moment your answer will be data inadequate, but right now you cannot say your answer will be data inadequate. So let's move toward the next part. I hope this basic question is clear to everyone, right? So this type of question you will face in your exam. So that's why I'm taking quick review on the questions. Okay. So let's move toward the next part. Next type of question you will see from this chapter. That is, now first type of question you have seen that in those questions, uh, I can see that in this question, everything is clearly mentioned, right? There is no photograph here. Nobody is representing. There is a photograph and someone is pointing out the photograph. But you can also see the question in the next question. You can see there is a photograph and someone is pointing toward a photograph, right? Let's say pointing to a photograph, Lata says, means let's say if this is a photo. And let's say this is a photo. This is a photo, right? This is a photo. Pointing to a photograph, Lata says, what Lata says, he, this photo man, he, this is male, right? He is the son. He is the son of, you don't know who he is, this person you don't know. But definitely this photograph person definitely is the only son of my grandfather. Only son of my grandfather means you are here. Lata is here. Lata is here, right? So this is the only son of my grandfather. The question is, how many in the photographer related to the Lata? You can easily see this is a brother of Lata, right? So this type of question, guys, you can see in your exam. So definitely we can see that the brother, the photograph, whatever person is in the photograph is the brother of the Lata, right? So this is called the photograph based question, and definitely you will see this type of question in your exam, right? So let's move toward the next part. The next part is, let's take one more example on the photograph question. So we have only one question based on the photograph. Okay. But before that, I want to take one more example. Like we have discussed the simple generation based question, number 2, photograph based question. Number 3 type of question can be symbol based question. For example, here you can see A plus B, right? Now there is a symbol between A and B. This is basically symbolic operations, right? Now A plus B is what? It is mentioned here whenever you will see A plus B, or you can say P plus Q, or you can say Y plus Z. What does it mean? It means, you will simply say, it means if there is a plus sign, you will say it is a father relation. If there is a minus sign, there is a brother relation. Okay. If there is a percent sign, there is a wife relation. Okay. Now, if there is a multiplication sign, there is a mother relation. Okay. Now the question is, which of the following options shows that M is the maternal grandmother of T? It means what? Whenever you will see this type of question, you have to check each and every option one by one. After that, you can predict the answer, right? Because you have no other scenarios. Because in the option, there is different alphabets mentioned, right? But in the question, different alphabets are mentioned, right? So you will check each option one by one, and after that you can predict your answer. So first I'm choosing the first option, that is M multiply N percent S plus P. So you can see that 3 symbols are used in the first option, that is multiply. Multiply means what? Multiply means mother relation. When there is a percent sign in the question, you can see there's a wife relation. When there is a plus sign, you can see there is a father relation. Okay, so you'll use only 3 symbols operation. Okay, now here is a solution is also mentioned here, but there is no need to look at the solution. Okay, at the end, in the end, we will look at the solution. But before that, I'm solving this symbols. Okay, how to visualize, how to generalize these symbols, right? M into N. What does it mean? A is the mother of B. When we are saying A multiply B, means A is the mother of B. Means M multiply N. M is the mother of N. M is the mother of N. Right? Now there is a relation percent sign. When we are saying N percent S, now you will again move toward the question and you will see the percent sign. And percent means A percent B means what? A is the wife of B. So we'll directly apply this result here. N is the wife of S, means N is also a female. N is the wife of S, okay? But we don't know the gender of S, right? Now the third part, S plus T. Plus sign means what? A is the father of B. When there is a plus sign, you can see in the question, A is the father of B means A plus B means S is the father of T, means S is a male member, S is the father of T, right? Again, we don't know the gender of T, right? Now check the question again. Which of the following shows that M is the maternal grandmother of T? Okay, now you can see that M is the mother of N, and maternal means mother side relations. Okay, so you can see that M is the grandmother of the T, right? So this is the result, and this is our answer. Okay, and in the first option itself, you are getting the answer. So what is my suggestion? This will not happen in your exam. In the first option, everything is mentioned. You have to maybe you have to check second option, maybe you have to check third option, maybe you have to check fourth option, maybe you will get your answer in the fourth option. Okay, so that's why I'm suggesting you have to check each and every option carefully. All right, so in the end, let's move toward the one more question that is based on the symbols. A plus B means A is the brother of B. A minus B means A is the sister of B. There's a multiplication result. Okay, and you have to find out C is the son of M. In which option you are getting this? Okay, so how to predict a relation? Again, one by one, you have to check. How you can check, guys? Listen very carefully. And this should be our last question of this topic. All right. So what we can do, let's say A plus B means A is the brother of B, and here it is multiply, and multiply means what? A is father of B, means M is the father of N. M is the father of N. Okay, M is the father of N, right? Now N minus C means what? A is the sister of B, means here N is the sister of C, means N is the sister of C. The same generation. Now there is a C plus F. Plus means was brother relation, right? C is the brother of F. C is the brother of F, right? Now read the question. Which of the following means that? Following means that C is the son of M, right? So you can see that C is the son of M. Itself, I have arranged option accordingly that you can get the answer in the first option. Okay, this will not happen in your exam. Okay, so maybe your correct answer is in the second option, your correct answer is in the third option, or in the fourth option. So better way is approach each option carefully. Okay, now it's the last question. So we shall meet tomorrow with the new topics of quant and reasoning, right? So in the quant we will discuss profit loss, and in the reasoning section we will discuss direction sense. Okay, but before ending this topic, you can again visit your campus. Okay, I'm sharing the video. 1 second. I hope it's visible now.